The big green monster is finally dead. Oh, guys, I'm so happy to finally have these megasodes off my damn chest. To those of you waiting on Patreon requests, I promise we'll get to them in a catch-up eventually, but I really want to get back on track with some of these videos while we have some free time. I want to start making this. Y'all want to start seeing this, right? But in the meantime, we've got a few new releases that are worth taking a small breather for. One of them being the new Shinedown. Oh man, I'm glad I finally get the chance to talk about these guys. Well, in a good fashion, at least. See, I'm scared that my other video may have given some of you the wrong impression. I don't hate Shinedown. I rather enjoy Shinedown. I loved the hell out of their debut. Sound of Madness is a late 2000s arena rock classic, and, you know, even some of their more controversial work, I'm not as down on those albums as other people seem to be. Though I will say Us and Them is some of the worst cover art of the mid-2000s. Oh, this is weapons grade shit. Who the hell talked them into this artwork? I might have to hang on to this for other videos, but yeah, overall, I dig what Shinedown is doing. A true mainstream rock power act. Though I have to admit, I was a little worried about this release, and that's not even necessarily because their last album was a bit meh. I'm more worried because, well, they're a mainstream rock act, and guys, what has been the leitmotif of current mega-selling major rock acts in the late 2010s? It's been for rock bands to cuddle up under a security blanket of bland electronica and trap beat bullshit in the hope that the youngins get tricked into thinking it's another Imagine Dragons or whatever. Guys, if anybody was vulnerable to that kind of musical heel turn, I could have seen Shinedown going for it. Thankfully, though, they are one of the few mainstream rock acts in 2018 that appear to have not lost track of their spines. They actually had the gall to release a rock album. A rock band releasing a rock album in 2018?
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
But no, attention is another pretty solid, pretty heavy, pretty damn fun entry into their hard rocking catalog. The album starts off very strong with Devil, Black Soul, the title track, Kill Your Conscience. They seem to be going for a more stomping, anthematic approach here. And while I mentioned that they did avoid not going full 30 Seconds to Mars here, oh, it's still pretty evident that the atmospheric headiness that has gotten so popular lately didn't completely dodge them. This isn't Sound of Madness 2.0 or anything, is all I'm saying. The more buzzed out, keyboard-heavy elements do stick out on tracks in particular like Black Soul and Kill Your Conscience. It's not completely free of some of the things more modern, mainstream, cowardly rock is doing. But you know, here's the thing. This is one of the few records I've heard this year that actually does put those specific elements into good use. They borrow from the newer sound of things, but don't lean everything they have onto it like a damn crutch. These elements are lightly peppered across the album and used more as garnish than the whole salad, and still put a lot of weight behind more traditional instrumentation. You know, guitars, bass, actual drums. Wow, it's like a band actually being able to play their instruments enhances the quality of their music. What a novel fucking concept in 2018. The album also has a nice flow to it. It's a concept record where the narrator goes through a personal change. It's not exactly Cygnus X1 or anything, but hey, it's cute for what it is. As a result, the music has a nice kind of flow and progression to it. It starts off heavy, menacing, and dark, but grows more colorful, encouraging, and empowering as the tracks progress. It has a nice feel to it overall, though it does leave the album feeling perhaps a little front-loaded. I'm just saying, all of the power, all of the stomp, all of the snarl, it's mostly in the front of this album, so it might feel a little top-heavy to some listeners, but it's not a deal-breaker by any means. That little element, plus a few tiny places here and there where some of the more modern influences do stick out a little too prominently, can make this a somewhat grumpy listen to old schoolers, but like I said, nothing here is a deal breaker. It's certainly got an identity to it. It has a lot of interesting hook work. Brent Smith is still a wrecking ball of a vocalist, and Shinedown at least had the nuts to release a rock album this year instead of some trap slash dubstep slash hybrid slash total fucking cowards version of something that would convince the SoundCloud kids to stop drinking cough syrup for 5 minutes to give it a listen. Attention, attention, gets 4 ironclad ovaries out of 5. Oh boy, I was so looking forward to the next Frank Turner album after I'd got done spinning positive songs for negative people back in 2015. Yeah, that was my jumping on point to Frank's work, and after that album, I was hooked. Frank had such a wonderful way with words, such bravado, such confidence. He was a strong lyricist, an energetic performer, and he had the most elegant and interesting method of blending folk rock into high-energy punk swagger. It made him instantly relatable and encouraging. Frank could take an acoustic guitar, write the punkiest goddamn riff, and use that riff to write a song that would break your goddamn heart. It takes genuine talent to pull something that crazy off, so of course I was hyped as hell to hear this album when it finally got announced. But as details kept coming in, I kept getting more concerned. The album was going to have 3 producers, the tone was going to be much more mellow. This was the album cover. I didn't quite know what to think. You could definitely tell that Frank was going for a much more subdued approach on this record, but hey, never judge a book by its cover. Frank was always great with slow jams as well, so maybe he's just gonna flex some more of that emotional muscle on this album, and in a way, that's what he's done here. I can certainly call this album emotional. Okay, I'm gonna stop dancing around it. I did not like this album. I really did not like this thing. In fact, I'd go as far as to say this is the worst record we've gotten from Frank as a solo artist so far. What a disappointment. It doesn't start off too shabby, I guess. Don't Worry is a nice little piece of slice of life optimism that isn't too offensive or anything. Though its whole little spiel where he chides people for spending so much time on their phone, it's a teensy bit tone deaf. Look, all I'm saying is if Maynard James Keenan can't get away with that shit, neither can you, Frank. 1933 is a bouncy, fun little track full of distorted guitars and well-shouted vocals. It lures you in with the promise of some good old Frank Turner style fun, as long as you don't read the lyrics too closely. Then Little Changes comes on with that sugary, sweet, bubblegum poppy shtick and that main riff that sounds like it's being played on a Fisher-Price fun piano. What the fuck? I guess some people will dig that, but God, it's a weird look for the guy. And then the title track comes in and while it has the best of intentions lyrically, I won't deny that, it's just a listless, boring, dreadful little song. There are songs that are slow burns, and then there are songs that are just cold. And then Make America Great Again happens, and I give up! Its lyrics are so derpy and stupid and just tone deaf. Tone deaf is really a theme we're gonna come back to here and there as we talk about this album, but this song in particular is like full whoosh. Plus, that key change at the end makes the one in Living on a Prayer sound like something from Bohemian Rhapsody. Frank goddamn Turner, a songwriter who is so well known and celebrated for his ability to write heartfelt, soulful, relatable lyrics, writes a song that sounds like the fucking Dick Van Dyke chimney sweep. Hello, hello, America. Now, I may be just a silly Englishman, but I've been around your country once or twice, I do say, and it's quite a lovely place with the lovely people and the lovely, please don't kill us all! Ugh, guys, like, this album has a lot of troubling thematic problems that I don't have time to go into in great detail here, but to just put it bluntly and simply, the lyrics on here are crazy paranoid and the music is super toothless. It's the anti-Frank Turner equation, this album. Even in some of the better songs, where Frank's musicianship and skill in writing a hook does come very close to saving certain tracks, Frank's commentary on the current socio-political climate just overall comes off as, I'm scared and I don't know what to do and I want my blanket, god damn it all, we're all going to die! And I get where that comes from. I understand that mindset for sure. And it's nice that Frank has the humility to admit that a lot of the problems we're facing don't necessarily have easy answers to them. But the thing that made me fall in love with this guy was his confidence. Frank is a master at writing the things are fucked up, but I'll be alright kind of song. Hell, listen to like half the track list of Positive Songs for Negative People. That album is like nothing but things are fucked up, but I'll be alright songs. And Frank had such a knack with it. Even in his back catalog, there's so much pride, so much strength, so much unconquerable determination behind the guy. But on this album, it feels like every other song he's either singing about how everyone's a jerk, or how scared he is at the end of the world, or how there isn't any hope left for us as a species, so we should all just shove our loved ones into bunkers and hope we can figure everything out after the bomb drops. Man, 21st Century Survival Blues has to be one of the worst goddamn things he's ever written. Frank, get better. And like I said, a lot of the music here just also lacks that Frank Turner bravado and bite. While there are a few standout songs here and there, particularly in the beginning, the guitar work overall is just really bland, uninteresting. The production doesn't do much to boost up his strengths or show forth his musical prowess. And again, some of the instrumentation choices here are just bizarre. I figured Frank Turner would have been one of the few guys out there to have the gumption, spirit, and strength to take all of that and turn it into something stellar. Like I mentioned earlier, Frank is so good at taking negative aspects and turning it into positive kick-ass music. But this album, it does make me want to be more kind, I guess, but only to Frank Turner specifically, because on this thing, the guy sounds like he needs a hug. I was hoping you of all people would have the strength to keep us a little sane, dude, but who am I kidding? Who can blame you? Come on in, dude. I'll make you a cup of cocoa or something. Be More Kind gets 2.5 teddy bears out of 5. Before you have to hammer. The first time it was a tragedy, the second time it's a farce. Outside it's 1933, so I'm hitting the bar, but I don't know what's going